John Osborn here with the FX Education Outlook for October 25th, 2017. Let's start out by finding out what's going on for the news events that'll affect our trading tomorrow. That'll be on Thursday, and these times are New York time, Eastern time. At about 7:45, we have some pretty important news coming out for the euro with the European Central Bank rate decision, along with some marginal lending and deposit facility rate information. Also affecting the euro will be at 8:30, where we have a press conference after a governing council meeting, and we also have at 8:30 the international trade in goods news, along with the jobless claims for the U.S. At about 7:30, we have news that will affect the Japanese yen, and that's their National Consumer Price Index. And also at 10:30 in the morning, on Thursday, we have Fed Speaker Neil Kashkari speaking. And that could influence some of the things relating to interest rates tomorrow. And he's going to be speaking, giving welcoming remarks at the Opportunity Inclusive Growth Institute Fall Conference in Minneapolis. Let's go ahead and look at the markets and see what's going on. We'll start with the euro loonie. You can see this big jump up here that we were watching. We actually were waiting for us to break through this previous pivot here at 1.50739. We jumped right through that and on up towards our next target of 1.5257. We can see right here. And we can move our stop up. We might be interested in moving our stop at least to break even at this point, because now we've already made a significant move and we could be selling half of our position at this point, which is kind of nice. So we could actually move our stop just above our entry and make sure that we let the rest of it run and see if we can get up to that 1.5275 or 1.52575. For the US dollar Swissy, this one's broken higher and it's hesitating a little bit, but we're still trending higher, so we'll stick with that. We're not really putting in a type of divergence here. We could see a nice run continuing all the way up to this previous resistance at 1.00995. You can see that on both this chart on our daily and also on our weekly as our next pivot. For the dollar yen, you can see we are coming back to retest our previous pivot that we broke through that got us kind of excited in setting our target here. We're still watching that target of 114.492. But we are showing a little bit of divergence now, a little bit of a pullback as we have a higher high here and our MACD is not quite as high. So we want to be a little careful with that one. For the euro yen, we've been waiting for it to break through this resistance line and on up it went. And it actually broke barely above this point. We can see that better here on the 4-hour chart. You can see how we broke above it. So now as we trend higher, we could be watching to see if we can break above the previous bar's high and continue on higher for a potential bullish trade. On the bearish side, we've got the Kiwi yen breaking through support. We've weakened this support line here, and so now you can see it here also in the purple or cyan line, and then we could watch for a break below the previous bar's low, which would be at 78.082 for a potential bearish move. We're looking bearish in the daily and starting to look a little bit more bearish on our weekly, and a nice break of the weekly support line. I'm going to go ahead and add one more line in here underneath and make sure that we keep an eye on this support here on our weekly, which is at 78.178, and it looks like we already did poke through that, so watch for this one to head lower. For the Aussie yen, you can see that we are waiting for this one to figure out what it wants to do. Are we consolidating, or are we going to be moving lower? Are we watching to see if we can break below this previous low here? So we can go ahead and move that line down at 87.242. We're struggling along this line that we've been watching for several weeks here, but we are looking quite bearish on our 4-hour and 2-hour charts. For the Aussie Swissy, still watching this daily trend line for a potential break. More and more weakness is coming in as we just couldn't break much above the 200 bar moving average on the weekly. Again, we're bearish on our 2-hour, 4-hour, and neutral, and on our daily. And finally, we have the Aussie Kiwi. This one's interesting. We're putting in a head and shoulders pattern here, kind of at the top, a little bit muddy. And that's after we had this nice move up. So be a little careful with this one. We're also showing a little bit of bearish divergence. And it's not surprising after this big run up that we would consolidate. The question is, will we break below here? But we did hit our target. You can see with the green line here, and it's not surprising to be pulling back after that. We will also be watching for this break of the 1.12697 resistance. A little tough to tell on this chart, but we have broken through that. So we could be monitoring the next pivot high, and that would put us up a little bit higher than where we are at 1.13320 if we wanted to see if it can break to go higher. And that'll do it for today. And until next time, have a great rest of your day.